Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee with the Journalist, brought to you by OnePitch. The guests on our show include some of the most notable journalists from the top US-based publications who cover topics including technology, lifestyle and culture, health, science, consumer products, business news, and beauty and wellness. We discuss their role, the types of stories they cover, what their inbox looks like, and how they connect with sources. Head to onepitch.co and look for the video page to learn more about our new video series featuring journalists from the show. Today's guest on Coffee with the Journalist is Eli Tan, an NFT reporter for CoinDesk. Eli covers NFTs, gaming, and the Metaverse. During the episode, Eli talks about the many NFT pitches he receives, what he looks for in pitches, the types of sources he enjoys speaking with, and more. Let's hear from Eli now.
Welcome, everyone. This is Coffee with the Journalist. I'm Beck Bamberger, and what do I do here? I created OnePitch because publicists need help getting to journalists, and we're trying to make better relationships with our wonderful journalist friends. I also run an agency named BAM that works with all venture-backed technology companies. A wild time over there. That's quite the industry. But with us today, also talking about tech and the wild industry that is all things NFT, Web 3.0, and so forth, is Eli Tan. He's the NFT reporter over at CoinDesk, which we will get into. Eli, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Beck. Excited to be here.
I'm excited too. And we had a fun time with our little video vignette things we just recorded. All good stuff so far. Real quick, Eli, for those maybe not as familiar, what is CoinDesk?
CoinDesk, we are a media organization that does news and content for the crypto native. So
For the crypto native.
very, very, in the weeds, crypto news, very high level, kind of expert level stuff for people that are in cryptocurrency.
That is deeply involved there, yes. However, I will say CoinDesk does have policy, TV stuff. There's a lot of podcasts. There's events. It's quite a elaborate organization at this point in time. Probably the largest, actually, in the crypto space, right?
Yeah, of crypto media. Yeah, we're I think the largest by head count. We have the Consensus conference every year, which is huge.
Yes.
We get, 20,000 people at that. We've got news team, podcast, TV, like you said. Yeah, we're kind of do it all.
Yep, they're kind of the biggest in the land, as it were. Okay, Eli, for your inbox, how does it look?
My inbox, it's a little bit of a disaster. It's a little bit of a headache. NFTs being my beat and being kind of the beast they are, right? I just get a ton of pitches every day. I probably get 300 or 400 emails a day.
Wait. What, 300, 400 a day?
Yeah, probably 300 to 400 a day.
Wow.
Most of which are pitches.
Wow, okay.
Every day to kind of look through and sort through. Though it's certainly a tall task, I think, every day to look through. But there's a lot of gems in there every day as well. A lot of good stuff. It's never like I can't find something.
So Eli, how do you navigate then those 300, 400 pitches a day?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't have time to go through each one and kind of read through the depth of the entire pitch, right, and look through the entire press release. I obviously the subject line, if it captures me, I'm gonna look at it. If it's an embargo or an exclusive, I typically am gonna follow up with it just to kind of see what's going on. And then if it's sent from somebody that I have kind of rapport with, I'm gonna of course look at it. I would say that's kind of the process for me. And then I also have a Telegram inbox, which
yes, you do.
It's a great way to
Twitter.
It's a great way to reach people.
Mm-hmm.
I know on my Twitter, I say that's kind of my main form of communication. So anyone that goes to look at my Twitter, look at my bio, add my Telegram, like I'm gonna honor that effort as well.
What is in the Telegram versus in your inbox? Is there a difference in the distinction of pitches in there?
Yeah, because Telegram, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a messaging platform.
Yes.
Right? It's kind of like texting someone. So,
yes.
Typically with email, right, you'll have like 2 or 3 back and forths, and they'll be kind of like big things. Like if I'm sending someone an email, like I'm trying to get my questions in because I don't know when, they're going to respond. But with Telegram, it's a little bit more casual. It's more like, hey, I got a pitch about this. Do you want to see it? I go, yeah, for sure. If I have questions about something, we can just kind of be messaging in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's kind of my preferred mode of communication.
Okay, so either platform preferred. So Eli, then when do you file your pitches? Are you an inbox zero person? What do you do?
I used to be an inbox zero person. I'm not anymore. I
Reluctantly.
Yeah, I'm not even close to inbox zero. Maybe like inbox 200 of the 400.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
all right.
I'm a big fan of just starring pitches. I think are interesting.
Oh, okay. And then do you at some point do you review your stars or something?
Yeah, and I'll review my stars.
Oh,
So
review the
that's
stars.
typically, or
This is the first one.
Yeah, if something is like I commit to it, like I'll star that as well. So that's really the
Okay.
only kind of like designation I have.
Ooh, okay, star system. We're gonna this is new terrain on the show. The star system. Okay, we've had flags, we've had the inbox zero people, we've had just let it ride, 497,000 unopened emails, and so forth. So there is no method in which journalists seem to control the inbox. So, okay. What is the subject line though that gets your attention? Like, what are the components of an amazing subject line?
I mean, if you're somehow connected to like one of the major, crypto narratives going on, like I think that's interesting. Like if you can because that's something that journalists look for is the narratives, right? Like we're not just we don't want to just be summing press releases as promotions. Like we want to be able to fit these announcements into kind of the larger story and like make it interesting for the readers, right? So if a publicist kind of already does that for me, that's great. Like that makes it, I think, clearer to me like why I would cover that story. I get a lot of people that they work with prominent names or interesting names. I love to interview people. Like I think adding quotes from interviews really makes my stories interesting. So if you're someone that's like has a client that's interesting and can offer up that interview, like that's something that I'm always going to look into, even if I can't necessarily fit into a story. I love just kind of talking to as many people as I
can. Got you. Now, what would you classify though as interesting?
I mean, not even like most people would probably say, oh, you only want to talk to celebrities.
Yeah.
Really, like anyone with just like an interesting background that's kind of like worked at some cool companies.
Okay.
I did a profile the other day on this guy, Nikolai is his name, and we met in Miami at a crypto conference. And kind of an unassuming guy when you first meet him, but I learned that he had kind of this crazy background of he played professional poker. He worked at like all these different companies, Google doing AI, doing machine learning. He worked in professional baseball, doing statistics, all these really interesting things. And by no means is he someone that, is a celebrity. But just like hearing his story, like I think there are so many people like that are in crypto and NFTs. And it's cool to just hear, how people kind of got to this point.
Okay. It doesn't mean that you have to have a A-lister celebrity to get a call booked with you or an in-person coffee, as you were mentioning earlier on our videos.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, if you're a publicist, like look at your founder, like figure out their story. And I'm someone like if I ever see someone that's from Seattle, because I'm from Seattle, immediately I will talk to that person because I just like Seattle people. It's that type of thing. It's like it's the little details.
Yes, excellent. Oh, that's so good to hear. Okay, you mentioned a little bit when we were doing the video little portion of our series here. I believe you did. Exclusives, embargoes. Oh no, when we were talking about the pitches and what you open. Okay. What do you think about exclusives? Do you want them? Do you hate them?
I love exclusives. Yeah, exclusives.
You love an exclusive. Okay.
They're the best thing you can offer to a journalist as a publicist.
Okay. So you will accept those. Got you.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing you could do. It's, one, it's like a relationship thing. Like I'm offering you the exclusive news, I want to give it to you. I value your writing and outlet and audience right more than like the others I'm giving it to you.
It is kind of a big gesture. I would agree with that.
It is, yeah. And like on some level, like exclusives are kind of shopped around. Like you'll get exclusive pitched and then you'll say, yeah, I'll do it. And then they'll say, oh, well, I already offered it to someone else. And then it's
Does that happen though?
Genuine. That happens a lot, yeah. I face that a good amount.
Today's interview will continue after this brief message brought to you by OnePitch. Are you curious to see the unique ways OnePitch helps PR professionals and marketers pitch journalists? Head to onepitch.co to learn about our new OnePitch score and see how easy it is to find the right journalist to pitch your news to. Sign up for your free account today. Now, back to today's episode.
I think that's poor form because, at least in our practice or what I've seen, is you offer a certain time frame in which to offer the exclusive. Like, hey, Eli, in the next 12 hours at deadline 6 p.m. PT, would you like this or not? Otherwise, I will move on. Just to then say, though, you respond to the publicist and they go, oh yeah, never mind. Ooh, what do you do then? Are you like, yeah, no, I'm not responding to you ever again, or what?
It might not be a response ever again, but definitely like sours it a bit. I think
Yeah,
the
I would say so.
purest form of of exclusive is when you haven't even shown anyone else the news.
Yeah,
Journalists like
exactly.
that the most. They like,
Yes.
okay, you're the only one that's seeing this. When you're going to publish it, other outlets are going to have to, look at it and sum it, right? Versus like you get to publish 5 minutes before everyone else. It's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
good, but it's like it's not quite the level of the pure exclusive in my mind.
Yes, got you. So related a little-ish bit to the exclusive embargoes. Do you ever want to see those?
Yeah, embargoes are great.
Okay, you like embargoes too.
All interesting news is going to be embargoed under some degree.
Okay, usually, embargo's good.
Yeah, for immediate release, I typically don't look at too many of those because if it's for immediate release and it's notable, I think it'll have gotten to me, through other channels.
Yeah, got you. Okay. We already covered relationship building with you, Eli. We talked a little bit about the subject lines that you love, exclusives, embargoes, all this good stuff. What are you reading? Plus, watching, listening to, we'll take any form of storytelling. Anything you got that you love right now?
I mean, in general, I like, it's funny, I'm like a quick news guy, but I really like the long form storytelling. I like the, New Yorkers, New York Mags, kind of the higher brow magazine, glossy magazine stuff. That's kind of what I'm into.
Okay.
As well as sports journalism. I love sports journalism.
Oh, what do you watch on sports? ESPN,
I grew up,
Sports Illustrated.
watching ESPN. I love the documentaries. I love following all the scoopers, the insiders. I think that's a cool job.
Scoopers. Okay. Interesting assortment of reading material. Eli, for speaking of stories and all that you do, and I know you mentioned you get 300, 400 pitches a day, so there's no lack of stories coming to you. How do you think about the stories you do? Do you always take them from pitches, or are you doing a daily stroll through the park and you're like, wait, hallelujah, I'm going to do a story on X?
It's a bit of a mix. A lot of stories are assigned by editors, ones that I don't control, that they get and they say, okay, this is important. You've got to...
You're on it.
Like this. Some of them are going to be like longer feature pieces, which I kind of ideate over time. And I think, okay, what do I want? Do I want to do a profile of a company or a feature on a person, something like that? And then, a lot of them just come from the inbox, I would say, as well. I like to think, all of these little stories I put out are kind of part of like a larger narrative that I'm writing. Like I want people, because I'm CoinDesk NFT reporter. Right now, I'm our only NFT reporter.
Oh, that's a big burden.
Yeah, so I want people to be able to, conceivably, if they only read my stuff and they wanted to know what was happening in NFTs, I'd want them to know what's going on. I'd want to give them, a good enough coverage. I know that as one person, I'm not going to be able to cover every story, but I just think I want to follow the pulse enough.
Yeah. Okay. And then you mentioned sports. You mentioned reading the New Yorker. I know you're in New York. I could see you like sipping coffee somewhere in Soho, enjoying it with your coffee mug, as you showed us earlier. What do you like to do besides writing stories?
I mean, I love playing sports as well. I play
sports.
I play in a Central Park baseball team.
Oh, fun. Oh, it's really hot though right now. Do you play now in the summer?
Yeah, during
the
summer.
Oh boy,
but I love doing that. I mean, I live in New York now, so I like doing New York stuff. I like going around and just hanging out with friends and eating nice food. I guess I'm a bit of a foodie. You're a foodie.
Okay, great. Are you a theater, museum, etc. person too?
I love museums. Yeah, I love going to museums. I love, with my job, I get to go to a lot of art galleries that are doing kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a member of the Whitney Museum in New York City, even though I only go there 8 times a year or something. But hey, I got my art membership.
That's pretty good. I'm a Met member, but I think that's the only museum membership I have.
Got it. Okay, good. Well, Eli, I know when we covered in your bio earlier at the kind of the top of the show and the intro, you're a relatively new-ish journalist in this field. So we like to always ask, what do you think is the future of journalism?
It's a tough question. I'm very young. I'm 24. I've only been doing this for a little bit.
That's technically, you're an elder Gen Zer, correct?
I don't like to think of myself as Gen Z, but I get, if you want to designate me as that,
I think the cutoff is 20. I think the current age Gen Zs are 12 to 25. I just saw a stat on this somewhere and I was like, oh, 12. Wow.
Yeah, the stat for the Gen Z is like a little bit all encompassing. Like, I don't think 12-year-olds and the 25-year-olds necessarily.
Yeah. Okay.
experience.
So you are pretty young, but okay, continue on with your answer.
Yeah, future of journalism. I mean, it's tough to say. I would love because the purest form of journalism are these local papers, right, that are doing like local news. And those are kind of the outlets that are dying out, which is really unfortunate. I think like national media that is like well funded and can write cool stories without a ton of like constraints, like financially. I hope that continues to succeed as a business model. I know that's kind of what CoinDesk is built on, but who knows? Like it's tough. You see companies like BuzzFeed News; they're kind of like reshuffling how they're doing things. I think for sure the big legacy media companies are going to last. The big names, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Journal. These like the big metro papers, even like a Seattle Times or like I think that they'll be fine in the long run. They're too important, but. Yeah, for the smaller outlets, I'm really not sure. I don't really know what's long-term future.
Let me ask you, just as a follow-up, what made you go into this as a career?
So my journey to journalism, I was going into my junior year of college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I thought I kind of wanted to work in like, tech. So I was talking with, one of my neighbors who they were working at Facebook.
Yeah.
Meta, about the time Facebook still. And they were telling me, they do content strategy. They love like people that do their college newspaper. That's their favorite. And people to hire. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll like apply for an internship. I'll like join the college newspaper. And then I joined the newspaper as the sports editor. And I just fell in love with it immediately. I love the storytelling. I love the writing. I love like the whole thing. So I was like all in on journalism. And then from there, I just haven't really stopped. Just kind of kept going.
Fell in love with it. Can't go back. I like it. Well, Eli, thank you for being on for today. That's it. That's all the questions that we could bother you with today. I know you have so many pitches coming in and there's a lot for you to uncover. I encourage everybody listening, check out the videos that Eli and I did earlier. You'll get some little tips on making relationships with Eli, for example. He is down for coffee in person, live in New York, for example. And Eli, just thanks for being on here. This was really fun.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. This was great. Hey, to anyone listening, if you want to connect with me, you can follow my Twitter, Eli Tan Journo. Another great way to get in touch with me. If you're one of my Twitter followers or my mutuals, like I always appreciate that.
There you go. Get that relationship going. Eli, thank you so much. Eli Tan, NFT reporter, CoinDesk. Thanks so much, Eli.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Coffee with the Journalist featuring Eli Tan from CoinDesk. If you enjoy listening to our show, make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. And if you have a moment, please leave us a review to share your thoughts about the show and today's guest. To learn more about the latest tools on OnePitch and to subscribe to our weekly podcast newsletter, head to our website at onepitch.co. We'll see you all next week with a brand new guest and even more insights about the journalists you want to learn more about. Until then, start great stories.